This is my personal nightmare. This sucks ass. So, summer is officially upon us, and I'm just gonna come out and say it. I like the Kissing Booth movies, like, unironically. And with that statement, I probably lost all 36 of my subscribers. But honestly, I think they are the perfect summer binge trilogy. Does that mean that I think they are good movies? No, it does not. But they're just so damn enjoyable. I'm not usually a chick flick chick. There's a special few rom-coms out there that I actually love, but other than that, they're just not usually my thing.
You're not a rom-com chick. Wait, are you a rom-com chick?
Are you?
But there's something about the way these movies are so unashamedly cliche that just makes me love them. They play out in a way like they know exactly what they are. They don't take themselves too seriously, and yet seriously enough that they don't make a mockery of their own genre. They struck the perfect balance. These movies have all the tropes, like all of them, except one, and I am so here for it. We've got the crazy tall, ever so slightly aggressive bad boy on a motorcycle. We've got the love triangles. We've got the forbidden romance. We've got a whole slew of drama that could be completely avoided if anyone had even the most basic amount of human communication skills.
And I love it.
So if anyone here hasn't seen The Kissing Booth, it's about Elle, played by Joey King, Elle's best friend Lee, played by some guy I've never seen in anything else, and Lee's big brother Noah, played by the tall guy from Euphoria, which I have never watched and will never watch because toxic drama makes me really starting to realize how much of a pick-me I come across as in my videos. They give me a bad slasher and a beer and I am in it. Seriously, I was the biggest pick-me when I was younger. Not because of the things that I like what I like, but the way that I acted about the things that I liked, because I wasn't like other girls. I do sometimes wonder though if I like the things that I like because I actually like them, or if I forced myself to like them because I thought it made me cool, and now I'm stuck like this. Like how I forced myself to drink coffee when I was 13 and now I can't live without it.
Be proud of your hobbies. Make sure you are.
Anywho, identity crisis aside, Ella and Lee have been best friends for their entire lives. Their moms were friends, and they were literally born on the same day, so naturally they're kind of inseparable. And as all best friends do, they have a list of rules for their friendship. Things like, you always have to be happy for your bestie's successes, and no matter how mad you are, you have to forgive your bestie if they give you ice cream. And number one, well, not number one, but the most important one in the context of this movie, siblings of your bestie are completely off limits. And all this was fine when they were kids, but now they're getting a little older, they're teenagers, and hormones. And all of a sudden, Big Brother Noah is starting to look real fine to Elle. So, movie one focuses on the development of a relationship between Elle and Noah, and they're hiding it from Lee. Movie two introduces a love triangle and a whole lot of jealousy over Noah going off to college and being around college girls. And movie three is about, I don't actually remember. I think it's something to do with Elle having to choose between going to the same college as her boyfriend or her best friend, which seems like a really thin plot to base a whole movie off of, but I'm sure there's some other drama in there that I'm forgetting about. Hi! Are those some good crackers? Nom 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 nom. So for starters, these movies look really good. They're not shot in a particularly inspired way, but they've got lots of bright colors, lots of nice backdrops, being based in LA, nice cars, beach houses, carnivals. It's all just super nice to look at and feels really summery. These movies also, for the most part, are filled with pretty good actors. Joey King and Jacob Elordi in particular are very talented. I am so excited for the new Frankenstein movie coming out with Jacob Elordi. Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors, and I can't even wait. But even this guy, who I've never seen in anything else, gives a pretty impressive performance. If he was working with some better dialogue, I think he could be pretty great. And I do have to give it to these guys. These movies are cheesy and silly and dumb, but it really does feel like they are giving it 100%. And I think that might be how these movies manage to work when they really should not be working, if that makes sense. These movies kind of have two different vibes mashed into one. Well, the first one does anyways. There's the movie It Says It Is, about, the average girl falling for her best friend's bad boy older brother. And then the movie It Actually Is, where the bad boy gets into like 2 fights and then is just a solid good boyfriend for the rest of the movies. There's this whole plot point about how Noah is always getting into fights, and he even tells Elle that he's just wired differently, and he was even in therapy when he was younger to try to resolve his anger issues. But then when they get together, she tells him that he can't fight anymore or they're done. And he's just like, okay, and never struggles with it again. He's just like, whew, I'm cured. He is a bit controlling in the beginning of the first movie, and I'll admit I'm kind of a sucker for this trope. The whole toxic, possessive, controlling guy thing is kind of fun in books and on screen. In reality, no. Run. Run far away. But literally, once they're together, he just morphs into the perfect boyfriend and stays that way for the rest of the movies. I would actually be interested in seeing like an alternate version of this movie, one that focuses more on Noah and his anger issues and learning how to deal with them and how they affect his relationships with Elle and his family. Especially because I think Jacob Elordi and Joey King could really pull that off. It would be a completely different movie than what we got, but it could be pretty good. Someone write a fanfic about that. Maybe it'll get turned into a movie. Isn't that how these movies came into fruition? The amount of movies and actual published books that come off of Wattpad will never cease to shock me. Actually, it kind of makes a lot of sense. Anyway, something else that I really appreciate about these movies is that there's never any kind of underlying romantic plot between the male and female friendships. In reality, the whole can men and women really be friends question is pretty complicated. Personally, I don't know that I believe it can really work, but in movies and TV, I'm all for it. And I hate when one of them turns out to have been in love with the other the whole time, and it completely ruins everything, and it is just so frustrating. I'm sure it works sometimes. I can't think of any examples right now. The F Word, there's one I like. But even that one doesn't really follow the same traditional formula. Anyway, I usually hate it, so it was refreshing in these movies to see guys and girls just have healthy, straightforward friendships. It was nice. That is the one trope that they avoided, and the movies were better for it. Now, there are things that bug me about these movies, mainly Elle being a hypocrite and Lee just being a little brat. Lee brings out my anger issues. He is such an entitled, whiny little snot. Also, everyone laughs really aggressively, which sounds weird, but if you've watched them, then you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, it's so over the top and forced. Joey King does a better job pulling off super cringe dialogue than she does at just laughing at a joke like a normal human being. But if you can turn your brain off and just let yourself get pulled into this super cliche world and enjoy these movies for what they really are, I think you'll have a good time. I did, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. That is going to do it for today. Please give this video a thumbs up if you made it all the way to the end, and consider subscribing if you love movies as much as I do. I'm averaging like 1 to 2 new subscribers per video, which is slow but steady, and I will take it. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all next time.